say autumn, mostly because I like the weather. I mean, it's not too hot or too cold, and I mean, I like autumn winds because they're kind of warmish, but not too cold, as I said before. And also, I mean, the leaves are really pretty. Well, I mean, today it's not at a place where, I mean, of course, anyone wants it to be. I mean, I do think it has decreased since, I don't know if you compare it to ancient times, but I mean, I hope that for the future we can, I mean, internationally use more methods of peace instead of violence. I guess traveling, it's always fun. And also just, I don't know, rare moments where I actually get to like connect with my brother or sister are nice, because sometimes I feel like I don't pay enough attention to them. I mean, going random places and just doing random stuff is always fun, but I mean, sitting down and just watching a TV show on Netflix is always cool, or, I mean, getting in-depth conversations about different concepts about life, or, I don't know, it's fun. And just general goofing off and nonsense. I don't have a good memory, but I can think of two. One is, it could be a bit superficial, but when I found out that I got a lead role in a Shakespeare show, I mean, that was a really gratifying moment, because I didn't think that I would ever have that in me to, I mean, get a leading role in such, because Shakespeare shows, I mean, the language is so complex, and I thought I'd never be able to pull it off, but I mean, it was a gratifying moment to find that like a director would have that much confidence to put me in that position, so that was a really awesome moment. And another one is when I went to Connecticut with my friend. I mean, everything about it was just perfect. I mean, I loved the environment of the convention. I mean, I saw a few of my friends, I mean, and just got to connect with people that had the same interests as me, so it was a really nice time. Okay, this is lame. I'm probably gonna have to go with ice cream though, because A, there's so many different varieties, so literally, I mean, flavors are endless. I mean, there's an extent of what flavors I probably would not eat, but, and also just, it's a type of food, even though it's cold, I can eat it in any season. I mean, like, I compare it with popsicles, I can only eat it when it's warm outside, but ice cream, literally any time of day, any type of weather or season, I can eat ice cream. Okay, so most of these are inclusive of a series of movies, but okay, top ones would be the Star Wars series, because, I mean, I can't explain any of these, but Indiana Jones, which actually with Star Wars and Indiana Jones, I mostly like them because they were the movies that my dad really liked, and he introduced me to a lot of movies, so he kind of got me hooked on those movie series from when I was little. Okay, broad generalization, but Pixar movies are a big thing in my house, and even to this day, my other younger siblings really love them, so that's something we've always watched. The Harry Potter movies, because even though I'll admit I'm a bad fan and have not read the books yet, but I started watching the movies. Hopefully I'll get to the books at some point. And then I'd say Peter Pan, just because, I mean, I think that that's one of the best of the of Disney movies, and I've always felt a strong connection to the character of Peter Pan. So besides saying my iPhone, which is very artificial, and I mean, anyone would love getting an iPhone, of course, but I'd have to say, I think it was last Christmas or 2 Christmases ago, I got tickets to see 2 shows, No Man's Land and Waiting for Godot on Broadway, but they were starring Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. So that was like one of the best theater experiences ever, and I flipped out when I got the tickets, so it was a really great gift. Okay, so my favorite actor, and to specify in the theater field, would be Andy Mientus, because I just think his acting is always spot on, and he can really connect to the characters he portrays. And I mean, he's done both TV and stage acting, so he has a good connection with both. And he's also a very good singer. I mean, he's not one of the best singers on Broadway, but he puts a lot of emotion and meaning into every word or line he sings or says, so I really think he's a great actor. Okay, I mean, of course, it's useful technology, but I don't know. I mean, it's still very new, so I mean, it's hard to put a exact opinion on it, but I mean, I guess just see where it leads. I mean, if it's useful, I mean, that's good. I would have to say manipulation of natural elements. I would gravitate more towards probably either fire, water, or metal manipulation, but just generally manipulation of elements is really cool. Okay, I'll just say academics because I love the arts too much and they're just a whole separate thing for me. But I'd say either history really fascinates me. Not as much American history, but overall world history. And also, I've recently become very interested in the sciences. I mean, I'm taking chemistry this year and I just find it really fascinating and cool. So, also biology. Okay, I didn't know about this at all. I just wonder how successful it'll be, like trying to colonize Mars. I mean, there's not that many natural resources there. And also, I don't want it to turn into an episode of Doctor Who because they were starting to colonize Mars and then everyone died. So there's that. But no, this is unbelievable. I mean, I was unaware of this, but wow. I mean, no words. Okay, many different parts of this, but the primary thing that I like about acting is basically you can just lose yourself and take on the persona of a whole different person, which has always fascinated me. I mean, I've been doing this since elementary school, even though I was unaware it was acting. But it's nice to just escape and discover like how other people behave or may think in situations. And then, I mean, there's a whole aspect of storytelling and how, I mean, a lot of plays, they have just beautiful storylines and characters and how they really make you think about, I don't know, different concepts, whatever the play's about. And I don't know, I just get a high off of performing in front of people and just like pleasing them and make them think about the nature of the play. And it's a rewarding experience. I mean, this is a hard concept to really explain, but I mean, if you're going to attack the fantasy genre on this, you might as well just question all genres if they really are telling the same story. And if you look at it from that perspective, I mean, of course, I mean, there's, like my English teacher was saying the other day, I mean, there are just a few really common themes throughout literature, and or even you can relate this to movies or anything. So, I mean, there's only so many ideas you can come up with, and I mean, and themes. So, I mean, people just look at them how to tell them in different ways. So, I mean, it all comes from perspective, but I guess I would have to say no, because the different characters and settings, I mean, that's what really makes a different story, even though there may be the same idea about it. That, if I'm making sense. One, I feel like any approach on this question is kind of sexist, but I mean, I guess I'd have to say, and this can be really stereotypical, but I guess I would have to say probably a woman. Because just general physical stature. I mean, I'm pretty weak myself, so generally speaking, men are larger, so I probably wouldn't be able to take down a man. But I mean, I think I could probably get a good grip on like a woman, just because familiar with ability and physique. But of course, I don't really like this question because I have to revert to stereotypes. I don't think there's really one thing that would specifically make me like feel good about being a woman, mostly because with gender, it's just sort of like who you are. Like, if I was a man or whatever, I don't think my personality or how I act would most likely change. It's just kind of like something that I physically identify with, but I don't know, there's not like a certain aspect of the gender that, I don't know, that I favor. It's just kind of like who I feel that I am, I guess. Okay, I guess I wish I could be more proficient with both my time and my work habits, because I just procrastinate way too much, and I know sometimes I can do better than I do or do it faster, but I just don't, or I just can't physically read or write or think things fast enough. So I just wish I could just get things done in time so I actually had time to do more things that I like. So I mean, I'm not personally very educated on current events. I probably should get up on that. But I mean, one, in order for it to evolve into a world war, it would have to involve a lot more nations. So I'm not sure how many nations are really involved into this conflict. So that'd be a huge factor, and I feel like a huge factor for this getting into a world war would probably have to involve nuclear warfare, because I mean, that's the next step that it seems like we can go. But if it does result in that, only bad can happen with it, so I don't know. So, I mean, it's really hard for me to say, because I personally don't really think of like potential for future. I just kind of focus on the now, or what's happening now. So I honestly don't know. I mean, 50 years is really far away, so it's really hard to say what direction we may be going in. So, rather just focus on the present. I mean, I feel like that's really the goal for anyone, but I mean, it's kind of hard to say, like, I'm gonna like move a whole nation to do something, or like the world, but I feel like everyone has the potential to at least, I mean, change the life or outlook of one person, and that can therefore affect other people's opinions or things they may do. So I feel like it's really a one person at a time thing. I mean, if I can improve the life of at least one person, I would be all set. I don't generally like questions like this, but I mean, in 10 years, what I do will probably heavily depend on what I decide to do in college, which I'm not yet sure of. I mean, I would like to still continue acting, even if I may not major or specifically focus on it in college. It's still something I would like to have present throughout my life, and I would like to continue to do that. But maybe involving some science field, I'm not quite sure yet. I mean, there's of course the usual world peace and cure of hunger or disease or whatnot, but I think I wish for at least like almost for less selfishness, or for people to reflect more on their actions and how they affect other people. And I think if people are able to do that, I think that can improve the world on a larger scale.